takeaway in terms of where your team is at?
I think we've got a pretty good belief and understanding of a style of game. And when we got away from it, we learned real fast what was missing in our game. But the willingness to play, it's there. The veteran guys, the leaders, the guys that drive the bus play hard. And for the most part, they've got a real good risk profile of when to push it and when not to. So we're not a passive defensive team, a very aggressive defensive team. And I think we've got it reasonably solidified. There's nothing permanent in the NHL, and the minute you think your defensive game is good, you're going to get beat by 10. So be mindful and vigilant about that, but I think they have a good understanding. If there's a mistake that happens on the ice, 3/4 of the guys on the bench saw it. That's a good sign.
Did it come together quicker with all the new pieces? Did you even have some concerns start the year?
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
You know, coming off the deep run, injuries, new faces, and
All
here
of it.
you are. Yeah.
Yeah, all of it was a concern. The first one is kind of expectations, and I don't mean outside expectations. It's your memory of what playoff hockey is, right? You forget all the intensity, all the excitement. You remember none of the hard. And that we would get into games in October, November and think that we somehow deserved to win them because we played well 5 months ago. That was my big concern. And then you had all these new pieces, and it's still a process where we're working, trying to figure out the right place for each guy. We've been fairly healthy, so we've started to get a better handle of it of late. But yeah, I was really concerned. There's a lot of moving parts there early on.
Aaron Ekblad not here today.
Yeah, he's in.
Okay, so no worries.
Yeah.
Any lineup change, Coach?
None.
On that, I mean, you already obviously guys have their routines, the team has their routine, but when you get in a streak and you keep running the same lineup, there's a routine beyond routine to that point when you get a run like this?
Yeah, and you want to be careful about that too, right? So yes is the answer. We've got all these things that we kind of do away from the drop of the puck, the video that we show, the pre-scouts, all of it. But I don't know if we work hard at it. Want to make sure that players understand that has nothing to do with us winning. So we've got the routines, and we're going to keep them because I do like the idea of handle your day. You know, because it translates so very well into playoff hockey. The off days are off days. Mentally, this is what we're doing. Everybody knows it. We're not going lighter because we won last night or going necessarily harder. We'll assess our game. If we think we've worked hard, then we're going to just prepare and recover. But at the end of this, the guys have worked really, really hard for us to win hockey games. That LA game was a hell of a game. It was two teams that played hard, that didn't give a lot of room, that neither team really generated that much. They certainly generated nothing easily. There was nothing casual about the game. It was a good, heavy game. So we would be respectful of that and then move on to the next.
And the teams you've beaten have all been pretty. I mean, you got another team in here today that's a playoff team, right? Challenging. I mean, aside from Montreal, who's out of it, I mean, all your wins have been against playoff contenders or teams.
We kind of lucky in timing, and that would be when we had every team's going to have this block of time where they're off their game and they're losing and they can't figure out why. For us, it was simple because it was just really obvious. The St. Louis game at home here was like great for us because you didn't even need to show video; everybody saw it. And then you need a really good team to come in next, especially if it's a defensive problem. And that kind of settled us in, and we were pretty dominant that night, and it got us feeling good about the direction that we were in.
Unrelated question. The All-Star break is coming up soon. What are your plans?
If I'm lucky, I am going to there'll be some fishing involved.
Okay.
And then, let's see if I got this right. This is going to sound silly. Fort Lauderdale Greek Festival. February 1st to the 4th, St. Demetrius Orthodox Greek Church is in Victoria Park, and I'm going to eat there for 4 straight days. And I'm a green light to put on 20. The food is that good there? That's the hope.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed,
Yeah.
people.
I mean, it was an unrelated question.
Just
I don't know why
Florida
I asked.
Panthers win, everything else sorts itself out. Souvlaki.
Yeah.
Real quick, just any points of concerns the Devils bring?
All of that speed, because they've got guys out, but they're still playing the same game, right? They will make plays on entry, and they are dynamic at it. There's still 4 more passes coming when you think of shots coming in, and they are still good. So you look at the board and go, okay, this will be slightly easy. You just come off the LA game and a West Coast trip, and maybe it's a warm bath. Let's go play that game tonight. Let's really sauce it around with them. We can snap it around. We have skill. We can play that game, which is just not what we're good at. Yeah. That's the concern that we will step into that warm bath, and they'll be just better at it there. They're even with those players out, they are good at it because it's the way they practice, it's the way they play, and they can beat teams and they can be a dynamic team. They're built differently than we are, so they can play that game. And it's the minute you get into that arena, right? You're like a Navy SEAL. Stay in the water.
Yeah.
Just stay out of the jungle. Stay in the water. Stay where you're good at. Yeah.
And the All-Star rosters are going to be announced tonight. You guys, or today,
Yeah.
whatever. The rest of the team, you've already got Reinhart in,
Yeah.
and you might have someone else. You guys have some deserving candidates,
Yeah.
but Sergei Bobrovsky's been playing pretty darn
You know
good,
what?
eh?
And I'm hopeful for them because it's a phenomenal experience for the players. This really is all about the players, and rightfully so. It's an all-star game for the guys. So every player that you can get to go, especially if their families can go, it's a big deal for the players. It really, really is. So you'd like then, as many of your guys, especially, then they kind of get to go as a team, right? They get to go together. If you get 2 or 3 guys that got to go together, their families go. It's a wonderful weekend, and I'm hoping we get as many guys to go as possible.
And being in Toronto, it should be a real celebration
There'll
of
be
hockey
a
with the
camera
Hall of
or
Fame.
two.
Right.
Well, you know what? And it's good then, if you play in a non-traditional market sometimes, to go in there and get that kind of, especially if they grew up there, kids from that area, it's going to be a big deal for them, right, for sure.
Speaking about Bennett,
Correct.
Sam Reinhart, one of the league leaders in inner slot goals. What has impressed you most was what he has done in front of the net?
The different places that he gets the puck off away from his feet. So it's not, Matthew's a brilliant passer, so is Alexander, and he gets it here. And the different places he puts it. He made a tip, and it was, I don't know if they would count it a slip because he was almost at the side of the post across to the top corner the other night. We watched it 50 times just because we've never seen anybody do it like that, right? His ability to shoot a puck in a different body position in a different place, pretty impressive.
You care about scoring percentage. It's one of those weird stats, but I happen to look. He's at 28%.
Yeah.
What do you make of that for Reinhart? Shooting percentage,
Well, he's hot.
Yeah.
Right? Those guys, some guys will have years like that.
Yeah.
And then it'll get to a point in time that it doesn't matter because we really, whether you score 40, you score 60, that's just, but it's all about wins at that point. But when Matthew Tkachuk's at 5% and you like his game, then you don't worry. So, okay, if he falls to 15% at some point, who cares? Yeah.
Yeah, go there.
Thank you.
Okay, guys.
Thanks, Coach.